Your smile, your craziness, and your heart makes me love you.
Ты уникален и не похож на остальных. И хотя мы не всегда сходимся во мнениях, я очень люблю тебя. I love our differences because it makes us closer. It is like opening a new world of love, but sometimes it makes me crazy.
Is love enough? This is a really interesting and important question, but what happens when love crosses borders? Is it possible to find love in someone from outside? Someone who is different from you in everything and also keep the love? What happens when a person has to move from another country to live in yours? And which are the problems and differences that we find in this unusual type of couples? Welcome to the International Love Story podcast about love distance and multicultural love relationships. My name is Carolina, and in our attempt to know a little bit more about love, today we will talk about binational relationships. In psychology, this term is used to refer to love relationships between two people from different countries. This type of relationship has many wonderful and interesting aspects. They are seen by the world as romantic, interesting, and in some cases kind of idyllic love stories. These are the ones who people are used to see on TV, social media, and they really look so perfect and beautiful. But what are the real challenges that this type of relationship faces? Cultural differences can be really nice at the beginning, but they can become really hard as the relationship progresses and kill the love. We will meet the story of one binational couple who will tell us a little bit more about the challenges they need to face. Let's meet Andrea and Dimitri, who began their love story in the cold but magical city of Moscow. In this episode, we will talk about the good stuff, but also about all the challenges they had to go through, and of course, we will finally answer the question if love is enough for this type of relationships, or what else do we need to do? So, enjoy it and let's get started. Hello, Andrea, Dimitri, welcome to the podcast. Today we will talk about all the good stuff, all the challenges that in multicultural love relationships they need to face. But of course, we all want to know more about you and your stories, so you can tell us a little bit more about this and about this crazy trip in your relationship.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and I came to Russia 3 years ago for a study. It was my first time away from Colombia, and everything was new and interesting, but also scary. In fact, I had only planned to stay here for 2 years, but love changed my plans when I met Dimitri at university.
And well, my name is Dmitry, and I have lived here all my life. Moscow is my home, and for me, of course, everything was usual, normal, until I meet Andrea. In that moment, my world changed and taught me that there are a lot of new and interesting things outside of it.
So, we can say that from the moment they start their relationship, they have shared incredible moments where they have learned a lot from their differences and also they have been able to build a good relationship between each other. But I also imagine that not everything was that easy. Despite having a lot of good stuff, they also had to face certain problems that may seem simple to solve, but the only ones who really know are they. That's why we are going to start with the first problem related to these binational couples, and it's related to language. So we will call this problem, if I say A, he understands B.
Yes, of course. Our first problem was totally language, and not because we don't speak the same one. It was because we have different meanings for some words. For example, an argument is totally different when you can express yourself in your native language. I can be more fluent, it's just easier, but when we speak another language, we often do it without the intensity we want or even exaggerate our expression, and it can be a problem.
Yes, for example, in Russian language, there are many expressions and way of saying things. Phrases are difficult to translate because they belong to the slang and when translated, they may sound very direct or strong, but in reality, they are not. And in Spanish, sometimes they use phrases to make fun of other person, but that doesn't mean something offensive, which I had troubles to understand it. It can say "ты странный, но я люблю тебя," and it makes her feel uncomfortable.
We can see that in binational couples, even if they communicate in the same language, since it's not their mother tongue, it can generate some problems. Because of course, language is a really huge important part of life. It gives us the tool to express ourselves, to communicate between each other, but when it's not that easy and there are a lot of language barriers, it can generate conflicts from really silly and small topics. And also this misunderstanding takes energy from each person and sometimes it weakens the relationship. So, for this type of couples, they need to have special control of their emotions and also manage their words better, because just one simple word can hurt really bad their emotions. Another problem they face are the expectations. Are these ones real or fake?
For me, at the beginning, everything was exciting: new place, new people, new love. Our different make it more interesting. We really had good times making fun of this, but after this period of falling in love finishes, the cultural shock started, and I had to face reality and not expectation of love. For example, one cultural shock I had was that I couldn't understand some traditions or rules. For me, being a few minutes late to some meeting was okay, not a big deal, but for him it was totally important, and being on time was a sign of respect for each other.
In my case, I also had expectations at the beginning. I thought that because of her culture, everything was joyful, funny, bright, and I had the wrong idea that for her, sadness wasn't so common, and that she will always be happy about everything and never be mad about jokes. But of course, it's not like that. And even if some people can be more assertive, they also need some space to feel sad and angry, and I understood how to be supportive about this.
When you start a relationship with a person from another country, the first thing you see are the positive qualities. All the differences in culture and in the country are interesting, new, exciting, precisely because you are in love. But after this stage of falling in love, the culture shock, which at the beginning was extremely exciting, with time can become really exhausting. For example, from learning a new language to adapting to new rules and traditions. That's why for these kind of couples, they have to handle it in the right way, and also they need to have a higher tolerance level and understanding of each other. And this brings us to the next question or our next problem, which is, should I stay or should I go? This is a popular question between binational couples. They need to go through temporary move, even though one of them already knew or had lived for a while in the country or the city. This situation is really stressful and it represents a completely change in their plans and lifestyles. And sometimes this responsibility is placed only on the person who is moving. The big problem with this is that the move itself is already very stressful, and if everything becomes the responsibility of just one person, it is really chaotic, and this can lead to postponing the move or even breaking up with the relationship.
Another problem was deciding where we should live. You know, my friends' couples only had trouble choosing where to go for holidays, but we had to choose where we were supposed to live in a long term. This really generates stress between each other because we need to decide it by thinking about our own goals and professional projects, but also about our relationship. It is not just about changing places, it is about changing your whole lifestyle, your traditions, and adapt to a new culture. It is true that you can have some options. For example, living some time in one country, choosing remote jobs also helps. In general, there are many solutions, but if you don't have support and understanding from your couple, it will be really hard.
And what about Lost in Society? This is a curious title, a curious topic, because despite having a stable relationship, they need to face new situations and factors that may not be so easy to adapt to. One of them is the independence or the development of the immigrant person in the new society. They need to be able to perform simple and basic activities such as shopping, taking transportations, activities of the day. And yes, of course, moving for love may sound romantic and nice, but we must be clear that it's not enough. Not everything is rosy. And in these cases, the support of the partner is really important during the first years, as it helps the integration become the fundamental support.
At the beginning, I felt like a baby because I couldn't do basic stuff for myself, and always I needed his help, which was okay at first, but I also understand that I need to learn to do it by myself. Because even if we were in a relationship, I still been me, and I understood that it was my decision to stay in the country. And despite the huge support from my partner, love was not enough. I was chosen by myself, so I needed to take control of my life and start learning all this new stuff.
In my case, I thought that these regular activities like going to the bank, supermarket were really easy. I didn't understand that language again could be a barrier for doing this. And for me, speaking Russian was something normal, easy, something that can be done. But I didn't realize that for her it was not the same, because obviously it was first time with the language for her. So I need to face this and learn to be more patient and understandable. And I was her support because it's very different when you date someone from your own city and you both know the social dynamics. But being in relationship with someone for region, I understood much more that it's not easy to be alone in a space you don't know, and that I should support her with more emphasis until step by step she adapts better to the country.
We have talked about the problems or issues that are around these binational couples. But what about the family? What about her family? What about his family? Are they important and became a fundamental part of this type of relationship? For a binational couple, it is really important to have prior knowledge of the family member of the other person, of the other partner, as well as dialogue within the couple about the significance that families could have within their relationships.
I know I have family back in my country, but here also I have found a new family. Before, I had the idea that even the family of your partner is important, the relationship is only yours. But when you are far away from home, the family of your partner became also your family. So being here gave me the opportunity to meet another family and also have their support, which became a huge important thing in my life and relationship.
We just heard about Andrea and Dimitri's story, which is just one of the millions of similar cases that are around the world. We can say that binational couples are very interesting social laboratory. Why? Because they concentrate the great challenges of society in their daily lives. And we are coming to the end of our story. We just heard about Andrea and Dimitri. They are a binational couple who just share with us the good stuff and also issues and problems that they had to go through it. Binational couples are really interesting, are really full of love, but of course they have a lot of knowledge that every partner should need to do it. And of course, if people decide to form a binational couple, they should be aware that not everything is so funny and so excited. Each of them comes from a society with its own cultural norms and also values. That's why it's necessary to try to deepen with respect and tolerance in the cultural environment of the other. Because more they know about it, the clearer this difference will be and the more comfortable it will be for each other to establish some agreements and also manage good decisions. We can say that, of course, love is important, but it's not enough for these couples. Understanding and patience are the key to making it all work. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really enjoyed the conversation with Andrea and Dimitri, and I hope you all enjoy as well. And well, we will meet in the next episode. Stay tuned.